My name is James Grieve. I am the director of Grease, the musical. My career started a bit by accident. I was training to be a journalist at Sheffield University, and I got involved in the student theatre company and just had a brilliant time performing in plays until I sort of worked out that that probably wasn't my strong point, but that I'd quite like to tell other actors where to stand. And so along with a couple of other students, I formed a theatre company called Nabokov that we then ran for 10 years after university, alongside doing other jobs to pay the rent. So I sort of gradually transitioned from being a journalist to being a theatre director over a number of years. Biggest milestone, I think, was becoming the artistic director of an extraordinary company called Payne's Plough, which is the UK's National Theatre of New Plays. It was a real honour to lead that company for 10 years. I felt a privilege as somebody who'd been a real fan of that company before becoming its artistic director with my friend and colleague George, and we ran it together for 10 years. I think both of us would say that's the greatest privilege of our professional lives. Yeah, in 2016 I was invited to direct a new production of Les Misérables in a beautiful opera house in Karlstad in Sweden. And I'd never directed a musical before. I'd directed lots of work with music, but never a full-scale musical. And I got to work alongside the extraordinary musical supervisor and musical director David White, who was one of the conductors on the original production of Les Mis, and he very brilliantly taught me, I think, how to direct musicals. I had such a wonderful time doing that show, and I've almost only done musicals since, so I think that really did change things for me. I think Grease is timeless because of its music. I think those songs stick in your head, the melodies are just so memorable. But also I think because everybody can relate to the story, everybody has been a teenager in love, falling in and out of love and friendships, and those characters just feel so recognisable. Everybody can sort of identify themselves and their friends and their school lives in those characters. So a combination of a timeless story and extraordinarily brilliant music makes it a forever musical. Well, it's the classic on stage, but we are gathering an extraordinary company of really exciting, talented young actors, singers, dancers. We have an incredible choreographer in Rebecca Howell, who I think is going to produce some really thrilling and dynamic choreography for this show. And I want to make a Grease for now, a Grease that honours the time period in which it's set and celebrates the characters and the music that we all know and love, but also feels really new and fresh and exciting for an audience in 2024 and 2025. I think the challenge is just to make sure that even though Grease is set in Chicago in 1959, that the story is universal and timeless, and that those characters, although they give us a nostalgic look back into the past, actually feel completely akin to teenagers today. I think lots of the concerns of the teenagers in Grease are the concerns of teenagers everywhere across Europe today, and I think the challenge for me is just to make sure that that classic musical still feels really relevant and recognisable to a teenage audience that comes and sees it next year. Well, new elements, I'd just really highlight the choreography. I think Rebecca Howell is such an exciting talent, and I love working with her. I always think she delivers choreography that is just so thrilling and exciting and dynamic. You can't take your eyes off those dancers. So that's the element of the production that I'm most excited about sharing amidst the story and the music that we all know and love, that actually I think Rebecca's going to bring a dynamism that will really blow people away. It means an enormous amount. It's my wife's favourite musical, so I am excited for her to see it. But I think, you know, Grease is a big part of everybody's lives. Everybody knows this story, everybody knows these songs, and so it's a real honour as a director to be entrusted with a classic musical that has been through so many iterations on film, obviously, but in stage shows produced around the world. You know, it feels like taking a baton from all of those directors, choreographers who have presented this show in the past and been given the opportunity to refresh it, renew it, reimagine it for today. It's just really, really exciting. Oh, it's a good one. It's a really good question. I'd love to say I was as cool as Kaneki or Danny, but it's probably Doody, somebody who dreams of being a rock star and never quite makes it. I think when I was 15, I really wanted to be Liam Gallagher from Oasis, and that didn't quite happen for me, but you know, it didn't stop me dreaming. I think so many highlights, so many great moments, but for me, the emotional heart of the show is when Rizzo sings "There Are Worse Things I Could Do." I find that spine-tingling as a moment in the show. But the thing that makes Grease such a great musical is that, you know, the songs are, you know, it's banger after banger, and there's so many great moments. Everybody has a kind of favourite moment, and across an evening, it feels like it's a real hit after hit musical. I think the long-term goals are just that we delight and entertain audiences across Europe for as long as possible. You know, we want to give people a really great night out. Theatre is entertainment, and I think Grease should give people a really memorable night in the theatre that fills them with joy and fun and excitement, and that's my aim and my pleasure as a director. You know, I want to pack theatres full of people that just have a fantastic time. I think there's always a challenge with touring. Visiting different cities, visiting different theatres on different scales. I think having to adapt to those different spaces is a challenge for an acting company for sure, and for a creative team. But I also think that touring is incredibly exciting, and it feels a bit rock and roll. You know, one of the reasons I wanted to work in touring theatre was that I never got a chance to be in a rock and roll band and go on tour on a rock and roll tour bus. So to me, touring theatre always feels a little bit rock and roll, and it's a privilege. I'll never stop thinking it's a privilege to travel and to visit different cities, to meet different audiences, to experience different places, whilst hopefully giving local people everywhere we go a really amazing night in their local theatre. I think social media's been a really exciting development for music, in making music more accessible to more people, and also platforming musical artists in ways that just were not possible before people could record their own music and release it online. I think the other interesting thing is just how people share music that they love. And I think one of the reasons why a musical like Grease remains timeless is that people continue to share its music via YouTube, via TikTok, via Instagram, because they love the songs and they want other people to hear them, experience them. And so I think social media is an exciting platform through which all kinds of music can be shared and discussed and enjoyed, but particularly a way in which older musical theatre can be received anew by a younger audience and discovered afresh by young people. Can I still say that I'd like to be a rock and roll star? I'd like to be a professional footballer, but I feel that might just be beyond me. No, I mean, it's a dream to be directing a musical like Grease, and if I can continue to have the opportunities to direct wonderful musical theatre in great theatres around the world, then I will be very, very happy. Grease is one of the best musicals ever written. It's about a group of teenagers in Chicago in the late 50s who could be a group of teenagers in any city in the world at any time since then, who do the things that teenagers do. They fight, they laugh, they love, they make friends, they break up their friendships. It's so recognisable to all of us who've been through the process of being a teenager, and it is jam-packed with extraordinary pop and rock and roll songs. It's super cool, it's edgy, it's fun, it's romantic, and everybody everywhere will find a character or a storyline in Grease that speaks directly to them.